Hello, everyone. I am in the midst of this three-part series of our diets. What we eat, who we spend time with, and what information we let enter our brain. And last post was about what we eat. Now I'm digging into our social diet. Who are you with? Rethinking your social diet. In the early days of my career, I did feel like a voice in the wilderness. I believed that businesses could and should aspire to something greater than simply focusing on profit. A purpose that extended beyond the product itself. I felt then, as I feel now, that we're often forced into binary zero-sum thinking, leaving no room for the possibility of doing well and doing good. But everywhere I turned, I encountered resistance. To the ideological left, I was a capitalist from McDonald's, not to be trusted. To the right, I sounded like a soft-hardened dreamer. I began to question myself. Am I crazy to think this way? Then everything changed when my good friend Sven Atterhed handed me a speech by the late Charles Handy, the writer and social philosopher who wrote many books, including The Hungry Spirit, Beyond Capitalism, A Quest for Purpose in the Modern World. For the first time, I felt seen. Handy's words echoed my beliefs, affirming my hope that business not only could, but also should be a force for good. I traveled to London in 1996 to meet him, which marked the beginning of a meaningful and powerful relationship that significantly shaped my own philosophy around business. He introduced me to the World Business Academy, a community of like-minded people who shared my conviction that businesses should take responsibility for societal well-being. Their mission was simple yet profound: to inspire business to assume responsibility for the whole of society and assist those who share our values to create a better world. When I first read those words, they resonated deeply. Shortly thereafter, I was invited to the Academy's annual meeting in Basel. The gathering was small, just 30 people in a basement, but it planted the seeds of a movement, corporate social responsibility. This experience marked the start of a new chapter in my life. It validated my early ideas, shaped them further, and gave me the confidence to pursue them. Over time, after moving to the United States, I joined the board of the not-for-profit Business for Social Responsibility, BSR, which I eventually chaired for 11 years. Today, it remains one of the largest organizations helping businesses understand their global impact, reduce negative effects, and enhance positive contributions. Its members include many of the most influential corporations across industries. These experiences also led to my election into Global Leaders of Tomorrow Network, a group of 40 under 40 at Davos that helps shape the World Economic Forum's agenda. Through this network, I met remarkable individuals who have collectively shaped, challenged, and encouraged many of my core beliefs to this day. I found my tribe, and with it, I began to thrive. The people we surround ourselves with don't just influence us, they amplify us. As a guitarist, I often think about how the body of a guitar resonates with its strings, creating a sound richer and more vibrant than any string could do alone. Similarly, we need a community to amplify our voice, giving it depth and strength to reverberate beyond what we could achieve alone. This is where the idea of a social diet becomes crucial. Of the three diets I've discussed, food, folks, and facts, your social diet is the most underappreciated. But it's extremely important because we are deeply influenced by the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. I've found that reflecting on my close relationships can lead to profound shifts in my life. When I want to feel more love, I spend time with loving people. When I want to laugh more, I surround myself with funny people. When I want to learn more, I seek out curious people. Similarly, considering the influences of those around us, you can offer insights that inspire meaningful changes. When we intentionally curate relationships, we set the stage for positivity and growth. But just as uplifting relationships amplify us, draining ones can hold us back. When someone comes to me deeply frustrated or unhappy, I often ask them, "Who have you spent time with recently?" Their answer often reveals that their mood reflects the energy of those around them. Our connections don't just influence us directly, they ripple outward, affecting behaviors, norms, and emotions up to 3 degrees of separation. Nicholas Christakis, a leading voice in the study of social networks, describes this phenomenon as the superorganism effect. The collective behaviors and well-being of a group often transcend the sum of its individual parts. When we're intentional about our networks, we can create positivity, resilience, and well-being that extends far beyond our immediate circles. In his TED Talk, The Hidden Influence of Social Networks, which I've linked to in this post, Christakis highlights key insights. 1. Ripple effects in social networks. Behaviors, norms, emotions, and even health-related outcomes ripple through social networks. For example, Christakis explains, if your friend's friend's friend, someone you probably don't even know, is obese, your risk of obesity is 10% higher. Similarly, when someone close to you adopts a healthier lifestyle or becomes more positive, it shifts what you view as normal and acceptable. These findings highlight the powerful role proximity and connection play in shaping our experiences. 2. Happiness and emotional contagion. Emotions spread with social networks in clusters, influencing our moods and emotional states more than we often realize. While being surrounded by optimistic, upbeat individuals can significantly uplift your outlook, the reverse is also true. Christakis likens social networks to a quilt with patches of joy and discontent extending endlessly. Whether you experience greater positivity depends in part on whether you occupy a happy patch. 3. The spread of good things. Beyond emotion, positive traits like love, kindness, and altruism are essential for nourishing and sustaining social networks. Unlike emotional contagion, these traits require intentional cultivation. As Christakis notes, if we truly understood the value of social networks, we would invest much more time in nurturing and sustaining them, because they are fundamentally tied to goodness, and the world needs now more than ever is deeper connections. The power of intentional relationships. It is worth reflecting on the people you spend the most time with and influence they have on your life, your partner, your friends, your circle. These relationships play a significant role in shaping who you are and who you become. Some relationships, like those with family, come with obligations of honor and tradition, which can make them difficult to navigate, even when they're less than ideal. I don't take these bonds lightly, yet people often remain in draining relationships, uninspiring circles, or jobs misaligned with their values. It is worth asking why we allow a certain pattern to persist, even when we sense they might be holding us back. While it's not always easy, many of us have more power than we realize to change our circumstances. We don't have to drift through life on autopilot, like passengers in a car, letting someone else choose the route, especially when it's clear the destination isn't where we want to go. Relationships work in the same way. Who do you spend most of your time with, and how might they shape your journey? Exploring these questions can open doors to deeper, more enriching connections. Now, this does not mean that the people you surround yourself with always need to tell you what you want to hear. That is not the point. Tough love is invaluable when it comes from a place of trust and feels constructive, not corrosive. You can choose to be around people who challenge you in ways that encourage development rather than tear you down. It takes discipline and thoughtfulness, but it's not complicated. I've made it a point to seek out relationships that broaden my perspective. If everyone in your circle thinks alike, you're in an echo chamber, and that's dangerous. Among my friends, we have often spirited debates that stretch our thinking. Those conversations aren't always comfortable, but they are invaluable for fostering personal growth. and finding common ground. Even within families, diversity of thought can be a gift. With a daughter who is more progressive, a son-in-law who is perhaps more conservative, and everything in between, our dinner table conversation can feel like a masterclass in holding space for multiple truths. These exchanges sharpen my understanding and remind me that the world is richer when viewed through many lenses. Robert Waldinger, someone I truly admire and I'm lucky to call a friend, is the current director of the longest running study on happiness, the Harvard Study of Adult Development. And he echoes this sentiment in his TED Talk, The Secret to a Happy Life, Lessons from 8 Decades of Research, which I linked to in this post. He shares a story about a mother and her 12-year-old son who loves improv comedy, a passion his peers neither share nor understand. The mother sought guidance on how to support her child in staying true to what he loves, even when it made him feel like an outsider. Waldinger explains that families model resilience by creating space for differences while anchoring us to our inner compass. These lessons shape not just our children, but also the world they go on to create. Again, while respectfully allowing for a multitude of perspectives, we still need to be discerning. Some relationships simply deserve less of your time and energy. I often hear people admit, I spend way too much time with this person and it's not a good influence. I need to make a change. Over the years, I've become more intentional about the relationships I maintain. The people in my life are thoughtful, kind, and bring immense joy. They challenge me to be better, and I'm grateful for them every day. And this post is my way of saying thank you, and you do know who you are. That is not to say I never encounter draining people. It's inevitable. But I'm clear about boundaries. Those relationships are temporary and are tied to specific situations or problems that need resolving. Once they're done, I move on. I don't carry them forward in my life. Honestly, these encounters only remind me how fortunate I am to spend most of my time with people who uplift and inspire me. Relationship map, a tool for evaluating connections. As we evaluate the influence of those we spend the most time with, it's helpful to have a structured approach, a framework to understand and improve these relationships. This is where tools like the relationship map come into play. By categorizing and assessing your connections, you can identify where to focus your energy for the greatest impact. In Esther Haynes' article, Want to be Happier? Use these 5 charts to improve your life, inspirational writer and content creator Sahil Bloom shares a tool called the Relationship Map, adapted from the work of Robert Waldinger and Mark Schultz. This tool helps spotlight areas for focus and improvement in relationships. For each relationship in your life, you can ask 2 questions. 1, is the relationship supportive, ambivalent, or demeaning? 2, is the relationship interaction frequent or infrequent? Based on your answers, place the person's name into one of the 4 zones. The green zone, highly supportive and frequent. These are your strongest and most energizing relationships. Prioritize them by regularly expressing appreciation and staying connected. These bonds thrive with consistent care and attention. 2, opportunity zone, highly supportive but infrequent. These connections hold great potential but lack regular interaction. To strengthen them, consider scheduling group activities, casual check-ins, or shared experience to deepen the bond. Danger zone, ambivalent yet frequent. These relationships may feel draining or inconsistent. Focus on reducing the frequency of these interactions or improving the relationship dynamic through honest communication. With effect and effort, some of these connections can shift into more positive zones. Red zone, demeaning and frequent. These relationships often harm your well-being. Setting boundaries or stepping away entirely might be necessary to protect your energy. For example, Bloom phased out toxic professional partnerships over several months, significantly improving his emotional health. This framework offers a clear, actionable way to assess your social network and focus on the relationship that uplift and enrich your life. It also empowers you to address connections that may be holding you back, fostering a healthier and more intentional social diet. The importance of warm connections. Based on his earlier insights, Robert Waldinger's study of adult development, initiated in 1938, offers profound findings about happiness across generations. The study has consistently revealed one essential truth: the quality of our relationships profoundly impacts our well-being. Waldinger describes the essential nature of warm relationships, those that are close, trusted, and genuinely joyful. These connections act as stress regulators, helping us recover from life's inevitable challenges. Without them, we risk remaining in chronic states of stress, which can harm our overall well-being. People who have at least one person they can turn to in moments of fear or illness are more likely to live happier, healthier lives. It doesn't matter whether these connections are romantic, familiar, or platonic. What matters is the depth of trust and mutual support. While I agree that it's possible to live a fulfilling life without being married or having a romantic partner, I've found immense value in bond with my wife. Our relationship is the cornerstone of my life and provides a foundation of trust and support. That said, the study found that what truly matters is cultivating at least 2 or 3 trusted connections, relationships that bring positivity, trust, and depth to your life. Making time for strangers. Even small moments of connections can have a profound impact. Waldinger illustrates this with an experiment involving subway riders. Participants were assigned either to engage in conversation with a stranger during the ride or to stay on their phones. Those who spoke to strangers didn't expect to enjoy the interaction, but afterwards they reported feeling significantly happier than those who kept to themselves. These findings show that even brief conversation at a coffee shop or a friendly exchange at the grocery store can provide a well-being boost. This reminds me of the time I reached out to journalist and podcast host Krista Tippett in 2018. I was in Minneapolis for business on a whim. I reached out to her. We had connected online, but we didn't really know each other. Still, I admired her work and wanted to meet her in person. To my surprise, she invited me over to her studio. When I arrived, she was in the middle of a taping. She opened the door, and there we were, 2 people who didn't know each other but shared a mutual respect and admiration. I gave her the warmest embrace, a hug so rich and real it felt like it lasted an hour, though it was likely only a minute. It was a moment of pure connection that left a lasting impression. Social fitness, a practice for a happier life. How can we strengthen our connection with others? Robert Waldinger suggests thinking about relationships as requiring social fitness, much like physical fitness. Just as we don't expect one workout to keep us healthy indefinitely, relationships also need constant attention and effort over time. Strong friendships and connections require ongoing care and nurturing to thrive. It begins by being proactive. Reach out to a friend, invite them for a walk instead of spending another afternoon glued to your laptop. Create regular routines with the people who matter most, whether it's a weekly phone call or a coffee catch-up or lunch with a coworker. These small habits ensure that your most important relationships don't get lost in the shuffle of daily life. Another way to strengthen relationships is by refreshing long-standing connections. It's easy to take those closest to us, such as family members or partners, for granted. Propose something new, like a date night or a walk in the park, if that's not part of your usual routine. Breaking out of familiar patterns can help rekindle warmth and appreciation. For those looking to expand their social circles, shared interests can be a great starting point. Volunteer for a cause you care about. Join a local club or participate in community events. Whether it's gardening group, political organization, fitness class, connecting with people who share your passions naturally fosters conversation and camaraderie. Finally, even casual interactions can hold surprising power. Striking up conversations with strangers, whether at the local coffee shop, grocery store, or public transportation, can feel intimidating, but it's a skill you can practice. Your turn. Take a moment to reflect on your social diet. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with, and how might they influence your outlook and decisions? Do you spend most of your time with supportive people? Consider whether there is a connection you'd like to deepen or a new relationship you'd like to cultivate. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear about your journey toward building more meaningful and nourishing connections. Thank you for engaging.